This is your Twilight Imperium Galactic Report, Episode 3, Civilized Society 14. Brought to you by Cardboard Crash Course. Support the Cardboard Crash Course by becoming a YouTube channel member. YouTube members enjoy exclusive benefits, like an after report after today's show. Thank you to all our current members, especially our professors Big Al Cappuccino, Cameron C., Christian N., Avian A., That Rat, and Guy's Night Medium. Now, let's meet our players.
Yo, what's poppin'? It's Adam, and in this Galactic Report, I'm repping the Prophecy of Kings expansion by playing the Cabal, a faction I've never played before.
Hey guys, I'm Armand, and today I'm going to be playing the Ralnel Consortium.
My name's Ethan, and today I'm going to be playing my favorite faction in the entire game of TI4, the Winnu.
So although it's a faction I've never played before, I'm really excited to play them because I've played against them a lot, and they're really cool because they can capture enemy units, and they usually felt really mean. That's kind of one of the reasons I never played them before. But with the new neutral units, it's going to be super easy to go and capture and get free units, get some free unit upgrade technologies, so I'm really excited.
They're a new faction introduced in Thunder's Edge that allow me to move my structures like PDS and space docks, and I will be drawing a lot of action cards. At some point during the game, I can even use my hero's ability to continue playing after everyone has passed, as well as myself. So that'll be really cool.
The Winnu are a very proud people that believe that they deserve Mechatol Rex by birthright, so we all know what I'm going to be trying to go for this game.
We're making a few changes with this third Galactic Report, and one of them is that we have color-coded dice now. So combat is going to be a little bit easier to follow.
For my secret objectives, I had two kind of ones, and I'm not going to lie, I think I'm going to bin one to get the Fracture in play by getting my Breakthrough turn 1. The first one wanted me to have 12 influence total with planets. Well, let me tell you something, that board is dry of influence, so that's not happening. And the other one wants me to have 9 dudes on a planet that doesn't have one of my space docks. I mean, maybe eventually, but at this point, I'm not banking on that. That would happen so much later. So I think I'm just going to use that as a resource, turn 1.
All right, the secrets I was given were mine rare metals, which means I have to get 4 hazardous planets, or control 4 hazardous planets, and foster cohesion, which I've actually had in a previous game, which only requires me to be neighbors with each other player in the game. As much as it sucks to pick the same one again, I ended up picking foster cohesion because it's just the easier point to get. It is what it is. In terms of strategies, I feel like I'd like to grab construction early so I can make more PDSs that I can move. But in terms of other strategies, I'm pretty flexible on what I can take.
I got the secret objective choice between destroy heretical works and establish a perimeter. So either one of these would be very easy for me, but I am going to take establish a perimeter, which is having 4 PDS units on the game board, for 2 reasons. First of all, the relics are really powerful now that Thunder's Edge has been added, so I want to make sure that I keep those relic fragments to actually get a possible relic. And 2 is that I can place a decent amount of structures using my Winnu mechs from the Prophecy of Kings expansion. Also, I want to be going for a lot of structures anyway because there's a decent chance a structure objective is going to come out. And we're playing with the Civilized Society Galactic Event. Civilized Society means that when we actually go to start the game, all 10 public objectives are going to be turned face up instead of just 2. So, you can score any number you want during the status phase, instead of just being able to score 1 public and 1 secret. You're still limited to the secrets of 1, but you can score as many publics as you want.
I'm also really excited to be playing with Civilized Society and 14 points this game. So we'll be able to see all the public objectives. I'm not really worried about Ethan being the Winnu and being able to sit on Mechatol the whole game because we can kind of score objectives whenever we want. Having Imperial is still nice because you can kind of set up to score a point and then go and score something else, but this one will definitely be interesting. So you guys are in for a treat.
This is definitely a major change for us and is a crazy experiment. And we're also playing with the Hidden Agenda event. This is an event that we played with in the second Galactic Report, and basically just means that you cannot talk during the agenda phase. The speaker reads out the agenda, and then the other players follow suit and cast their votes in secret. This just makes the game move along, and we quite like it for all of our games. But Civilized Society is definitely the experimental test run. I'm hoping to play the Winnu very well for all of you that have been waiting to see me play my favorite faction.
And the speaker is the Volwraith Cabal.
Oh, Adam is the speaker, which means that I'm going third for pick. I still want to make sure that I maybe get technology, or at least follow along with it to get gravity drive sooner than later, or maybe carrier 2, but being last pick really kind of blows.
Okay, Adam's the speaker. I would have liked to get the speaker, but I certainly don't mind choosing second.
Let's go, dude. Speaker? Oh, yes. Yes.
The first public objective is make history. Have units in 2 systems that contain legendary planets, Mechatol Rex, or anomalies. Raise a fleet is have 5 or more non-fighter ships in 1 system. Discover Lost Outpost reads control 2 planets that have attachments. Explore Deep Space reads have units in 3 systems that do not contain planets. That one might be a little difficult. Then Expand Borders says control 6 planets in non-home systems. That one seems sort of like a gimme. Moving into the stage 2s, we're starting with Rule Distant Lands. Control 2 planets that are each in or adjacent to a different other player's home system. Then Master the Sciences. Own 2 technologies in each of 4 colors. Then we have Revolutionize Warfare. Own 3 unit upgrade technologies. Second to last is Become a Legend. Have units in 4 systems that contain legendary planets, Mechatol Rex, or anomalies. And finally, for the 10th public objective, we have Construct Massive Cities. Have 7 or more structures. Remember, all 10 of these are revealed because of the Civilized Society Galactic Event, and we can score any number of these during the status phase, so we'll be trying to maximize the amount of points that we get.
So unit upgrades are not colored technology, which means that those 2 that we drew are kind of working against each other. Having multiple unit techs don't count towards the number of colored technology you have, so this is going to be a lot of tech in order to finish out this game. We thought that extending 10 to 14 was maybe going to make it more reasonable, but I think it's actually going to be longer than the other Galactic Reports. We'll see though.
Adam, Arman, and myself will place a control token on the 0 marker, and the first player to 14 points wins. Let's start with the first strategy phase.
All right, as speaker, I think the first thing I'm going to grab is technology.
Alrighty, I think I am going to grab politics.
As the Winnu, I think I'm pretty much single-minded, and I'd really want to see this happen, so I'm going to get Warfare.
All right, Imperial is tempting to take it from Ethan, but I'm not doing anything with that turn 1. I think I actually, as the Cabal, will get great use out of construction.
I think I would like to get some more command tokens pretty early, set me up for later in the game, so I'm going to grab leadership. So I ended up choosing politics and leadership for my strategy cards. Politics is going to be really awesome because not only is it going to give me the speaker token, so I can choose my strategy cards first next round, but I also get to draw 2 action cards that I can pitch to the expedition and get my breakthrough immediately. And I can also look at the top 2 agendas, which with Ethan and Winnu in the game seems like is going to happen by this round. So that'll be nice to be able to rearrange that. Leadership is also going to be really cool because I can stall out this first round and unlock my commander, which just requires me to be the last player to pass in a round.
Adam didn't want to take it from me, and I'm kind of inclined to take trade because I'm a little bit poor as the Winnu, but Imperial is looking really satisfying, and even if I don't get the point, I will get a secret objective. So I'm going to take Imperial as my second card as the Winnu.
Alright, I think I'm going to start this game off with a strategic action. I'm going to be using politics. I'm going to choose a player other than the speaker, it's going to be myself, and I'm going to gain the speaker token. I will draw 2 action cards, and I will get to look at the top 2 cards of the agenda deck. I get to place them on the top or bottom in any order I choose. I also saw Archived Secret and Rearmament Agreement on the top of the agenda deck. I think I'm going to bottom Archived Secret just because all the public objectives are already revealed. I don't think it makes any sense to give someone a secret objective. So I would rather get the mechs. Now anyone can spend a token from their strategy pool to draw 2 action cards. What do you guys think?
As the Winnu, I'm definitely going to be doing that, yes.
Yeah, I'm a little hungry for some action, so I'll take some. All right, so the 2 action cards I drew were Rout and Sanction, and honestly, they're okay. I think Rout's probably the better of the 2. It lets me force someone to announce retreat if I'm the defender, which will probably come in handy if someone tries to steal something from me. Then I have Sanction, which says you cannot vote on this agenda, predict aloud the outcome. If the prediction is correct, each player that voted for that outcome returns a command token from their fleet to the reinforcements. It could come in handy, but I don't know. I don't know if I want to waste some of my voting later on for that, so we'll see. It's fine. I probably won't discard these. I'll probably still stick to getting rid of my secret objective for my breakthrough.
All right, and then at the end of my turn, I am going to discard 2 of the action cards that I just drew to do an expedition. So, as the Relnel, I will be getting my breakthrough Data Skimmer. During the action phase, if I have not passed, when other players would discard action cards, they're placed on Data Skimmer instead. And then when I pass, I can take an action card from this card and discard the rest. It also synergizes yellow and green technologies. Now we will roll to see if the Fracture enters play. It'll happen on a 1 or a 10.
That is a 10.
That's a 10! Oh boy. Alrighty. Wow. Yeah, I knew I was going to get my breakthrough early, but I didn't realize I was going to make the Fracture enter immediately. It's the first turn of the game!
Oh man, Armand did the thing. He can't do the thing. I'm supposed to do the thing.
Okay, this is fine. I hope it pulls the Cabal's attention away from me. That being said, this board is extremely interconnected with these Ingress tokens, so there are a lot of chances for some sneaky plays that people might not see coming.
All right, so Armand put down Ingress tokens in a bunch of different systems where there were green and yellow tech specialties, as well as Mechatol Rex. Unfortunately for me, nothing by my home system, so it's a little sad, but we might see some of those move around shortly. But for my first turn here, I'm just going to activate the system right next to my home system, move over my carrier and some guys, and start exploring.
There's 3 alpha wormholes, 2 beta wormholes, and 5 Ingress tokens. The only thing that could make people be able to go anywhere, anytime they want easier, is if somehow a gamma wormhole showed up. But even now, it's pretty crazy because the map is completely connected.
So the first one I have is Core Miner, and this says if I have at least 1 mech on this planet, or if I remove an infantry, I can gain a trade good. Definitely going to do that. The second one is just a Cultural Relic Fragment. And for the last one, on Abaddon, I have the Gamma Wormhole. Place the Gamma Wormhole token in this system, then purge this card. Well, interesting.
What the heck? And there's the Gamma Wormhole, of course, and it's by the Cabal. How great.
All right, so we got the Gamma Wormhole token there, and while I end my round, I'm actually going to discard my secret objective so I can get myself my own breakthrough. All right, and my breakthrough is Alwraith the 9th Ianvar. I don't know.
I think it's Alwraith X Ianvar.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Anyway, my breakthrough says it actually causes the Fracture to enter play without a roll, although it is already in play, so I guess we don't need to focus on that. After this card enters play, I can move up to 2 Ingress tokens into systems that contain gravity rifts. I apply +1 to the move value of each of my ships that start their movement in the Fracture. It also has red and green synergy. And in this case, I can move 1 Ingress token to, well, my home system, because there is a gravity rift there. So I decided to move the one from Mechatol to my home system, and I also just cheekily moved the one that was right here at Tarman, moved it slightly up to this gravity rift right here. I don't know, just to inconvenience Armand a little bit.
Alright, as the Winnu here, I'm trapped in an absolutely nasty pickle, because I don't have enough things to do, or enough resources to do technology. Warfare has been changed, so I can't really, do something and then
retroactively change it. I have to be proactive about it. And the fact that they took the 2 breakthroughs that I would be able to do and went on the 2 expeditions, I could either discard a secret objective or discard 2 action cards. Now I can't do the others. So I guess I just really hope that one of these things gives me at least 1 trade good or something. So I'm going to go ahead and use Warfare and activate this triple system right in front of my home system there.
Okay, very glad that I did my secret objective to get my breakthrough, because elsewise I would have had to do like 5 resources, and that would have been all my resources for the round. It kind of messed up Ethan a little bit, which I guess I don't feel too bad. He's the Winnu. He just does what he wants and goes to Mechatol. He'll get there eventually, all right?
Warfare has been updated due to Thunder's Edge, so the primary ability, perform a tactical action in any system without placing a command token, even if the system already has your command token in it. That system still counts as being activated. You may redistribute your command tokens before and after this action. I'm going to activate that system and move a few things in, and then the secondary says spend a token from your strategy pool to use the production abilities of the units in your home system. So after I go exploring and everything, we'll see what the other 2 do. The first one I'll explore is Elnath. With that, we have Lazak's Survivors. It's an attachment. This planet's resource value is increased by 1, and the influence value is increased by 2. Then we have Luthien 6, another hazardous planet. This is Core Mine. If you have at least 1 mech on this planet, or if you remove an infantry from the planet, gain a trade good. Yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. Looks like they're both choosing to pass on the secondaries of Warfare.
I'm going to move to activate this system with Tirana here, and I will be moving a carrier and 2 infantry, some fighters as well. Then we will explore Tirana. It's got a double, so I could choose either industrial or cultural. I'm going to choose industrial for this one. And we got a relic fragment, so as soon as I get 3 of these, I can purge them to get a relic. I will also gain control of Olu Station. I don't have to put any ground forces on there because you can't. It is a space station, so I get control of it as long as I have the ships here.
All right, I'm going to start off my next turn by just immediately popping technology. Unfortunately, it just looks like I'm never actually going to get 6 resources to research an additional technology, so I'm just going to do it now. Try to help out Ethan a little bit since he wasn't doing too great, although I don't know, he's got an attachment now and he got his trade goods, so I'm going to just research neural motivators. This will be great to get some more action cards.
I'm going to spend my second strategy token in order to do technology secondary, which is spending a token from your strategy pool and 4 resources to research a tech. The resources will come from 3 from my home system planet of Winnu, and then 1 from the trade good I just got.
And looks like my home planets don't even have enough production to do the secondary of technology, so I will be skipping out on that one.
Now, as the Winnu player, I did get a choice of choosing 1 technology with no prerequisites to start off, which I chose Dark Energy Tap to do so, which means that I am researching Gravity Drive. Alright, for my second turn, I'm going to place a command token in the Mechatol Rex system and move my carrier and the infantry, the single infantry, over to Mechatol Rex. I'm also going to take the 2 fighters with it just to give some protection to Rex as well.
Nothing to see here, folks. Nothing to see here. You know, just the Winnu getting on Mechatol turn 2 of round 1.
Now, every other faction in the game has to spend 6 influence in order to remove the Custodian's token from Rex. But as the Winnu, I can just take it off for free, gaining myself a victory point.
I deserve Mechatol Rex. It's mine by birthright.
Additionally, my second Winnu ability is whenever I take the Mechatol Rex planet, I can place a space dock and a PDS there.
Plant the flag, brethren! We deserve this!
Now, you don't explore the planet of Mechatol Rex because there's no planet trait, but it is a legendary planet now. It lets me discard a secret objective at the end of my turn to then draw a secret objective. So if I felt like I wasn't able to do something, I could always shuffle it out.
I'm actually kind of worried about using the Mechatol Legendary Planet ability. Yes, I could get something better than what I kept, but you have to discard before you draw, which means that I could get something worse. And this feels like the absolute middle of the ground for secret objectives that I just would be pretty devastated if it got worse than this.
Alrighty, I'm going to activate the Lodor system here. I'm going to bring in a Dreadnought as well as an infantry, and as the Ralnel, I can actually bring a PDS. on the Dreadnought. So I will be doing that. I'll explore Lodor here. All right, we got Dyson Sphere. It's an attachment that ups the planet's resource value by 2 and its influence value by 1. That's a 5-2. That's pretty good. Okay. 1 attachment down, 1 to go for that objective. Hopefully it's on one of these planets near me.
Spare attachments, please. Spare attachments.
Miniaturization happens when he actually moves any ship into a different system. So regardless of the capacity of that ship, you can move the different structures along with them, and at the very end of the tactical action, after the production step, they can land on a planet that they went to. So Armand landed it on Lodor.
All right, I'm running it back with my strategy cards, and I'm actually going to pop construction as well. I kind of don't have guys to move out anymore, so I need to use the brand new ability, Post Thunder's Edge, on construction, which first states either place 1 structure on a planet you control or use the production ability of one of your space docks. So I'll use it in my home system, and then I'm going to place 1 structure on a planet I control, which will probably be a space dock over here on Loki. And then, if they want to spend 1 token from their strategy pool to place a structure on a planet, they can do so. And they do not need to put the strategy token in that system anymore.
Yeah, as the Relnel, I think I'm going to get another PDS. Probably here, on Meslo or Spysha.
I used up both of my strategy tokens, so as the Winu, I can't place any, even though I'd like to.
All right, so I made a carrier and some guys, used that trade good from earlier, and then I will use self-assembly routines, which was my starting tech. After I use the production, I may exhaust it to place a mech for my reinforcements on a planet I control in that system, so I get an extra mech as well.
All right, well, I might as well take the opportunity to do this because I don't know how it's going to end up otherwise. And because of the weirdness of Civilized Society, the first thing of Imperial is kind of useless, so let me read it off to you. I first immediately score a public objective if I fulfill its requirements. Then I gain a victory point if I control Mechatol Rex, otherwise I would draw a secret objective. This is just why I love the Winu. They're just so single note, do this one thing, or get broken into a million pieces. We'll see if the Cabal comes and guts my home system. That's the only thing I'm worried about right now. Now, this first clause might actually matter in sort of the late game, but right now when we're not going to win off of it, I don't think it's particularly interesting with Civilized Society in the game. But I am going to score the victory point since, of course, I'm Winu and I control Mechatol Rex. The secondary is to spend a token from your strategy pool to draw a secret objective. So, Adam or Armand, would you like to do that?
Yes, I will spend a strat token to grab another secret objective.
Not this turn for me.
All right, I got the Brave the Void secret objective, which requires me to win a combat in an anomaly. I'm not too mad about that. There's a lot of anomalies on this board, and as long as someone just kind of leaves their stuff in one, I might be able to go pick it off and get that point. It's an action phase 1 too, so I can just kind of score it whenever. All right, I will be using the Ralnel's Agent, Can Kiprel. So I will be drawing 2 action cards, and I will be giving one of them away. So this Agent flip was actually really cool, because I both drew Overrule and Confounding Legal Text. The only problem is now I have to give one of them away. So I think it makes the most sense to give Adam Confounding Legal Text, just because I really want to keep the better card in my hand, and he agreed to give me his promissory note for it once we're neighbors. I'll give that to him, but we just gotta keep it in mind that he might be able to elect himself in some of these agendas coming up. All right, I am going to give one of these action cards to Adam, playing the Cabal.
All right, so what feels like an eternity, I'm actually going to move again because I used the strategy cards for my second and third turn, and I'm going to activate this Entropic Scar. I'm going to move over one of my cruisers. I have no dark energy tap, so we're just going to be chilling here, hoping I can chill out and get a free faction tech at the end of the round.
As the Winu, something I didn't mention a couple turns ago when I took Mechatol Rex was that I did unlock Rikar Rakani, the commander. During combat, I apply +2 to the result of each of my unit's combat rolls in the Mechatol Rex system, my home system, and every other system that contains a legendary planet. So I've got a bit of protection and a bit of offense as well. Now that being said, we're going to play it pretty safe here. I'm just going to activate this empty space system and see what I get from Dark Energy Tap. Enigmatic Device. I place this card face up in my play area, and as an action, I can spend 6 resources and purge this card to research a technology. That's actually, honestly, pretty good in a pinch.
I have both Focused Research, the action card, and Enigmatic Device, which is that Frontier card. I'm definitely going to be able to get this Technology Colors thing. I'm pretty excited about it, and having both of them is kind of funny, because it's like I have the primary and secondary of technology in my hand.
Right, so I'm going to activate Lemix, and I'm just going to bring my 3-move Link Ship Destroyer there, just so later in the round I can use the Entropic Field here, or the Entropic Scar.
All right, and for my second movement here in a row, I'm actually going to activate this legendary planet right here, and because I actually have 2 gravity rifts, one from my home system and one in the system right next to it, I can get +2 to a ship in my home system, which in this case will be a Dreadnought, and I'll bring a mech with me. And what's nice here is because I am the Cabal, I don't have to roll for the gravity rifts that are part of my space docks. We'll explore. Functioning base, I may gain 1 commodity or spend a trade good or a commodity to draw an action card. Unfortunately, I did spend my trade good and I don't have commodities, so I will just gain 1 commodity. And the legendary planet ability of Faunus is actually a really interesting one that requires you to actually be passing, which I'm going to do anyway because I don't think anyone's doing much more this round. It says, you may exhaust this card when you pass to gain control of a non-home, non-legendary planet that contains no units and has no attachments. I'm choosing this one in the corner over here, Olorgot. I think I said that wrong in the last video. And when I'm exploring it, I'm going to choose blue, Cultural. Okay, so I had a lot of options this turn. I could have grabbed the legendary planet next to Megatol. I could have grabbed Malice, which is a legendary planet in the Wormhole. But I grabbed this other one, Faunus, because I feel like it might help me get that public objective, that stage 2 one, to have planets next to Ethan and Armand. We'll see if I can get away with grabbing the one next to Armand, but I figured it's best to do that early in the game because people are going to start expanding sooner rather than later. So we'll see if I can snag that 2-pointer. Also, it was nice because I got a free exploration out of it. So hopefully, an attachment. I may produce 1 unit in the system, and I may spend influence as though it were resources to produce this unit. Well, that sucks. I have no resources and no influence open. So, kind of a nothing burger.
All right, I will be using the Leadership strategic ability to gain 3 command tokens, and then I'm going to spend 3 influence from Repla Or's Ket to gain another one. So I'll be getting 4 in total. So Adam and Ethan can spend any amount of influence to gain a command token for every 3 influence they spend.
As the Winnu, I have to skip on it because I don't even have 3 influence to spend.
I'm in a similar boat. I just kind of said I didn't have any influence when I explored that planet, so I will also be skipping.
And then I will activate my home system and just do production here. So I'll get 2 link ships.
As the Winnu, I'm going to butt in here. Barakar is my agent. When one or more of a player's units use production, I can exhaust this card to reduce the combined cost of the produced units by 2. I'm going to do that to Armand, who is the Ralnel player. In return, he's going to give me one of his promissory notes, which is definitely going to be interesting. I'll see you in a confessional.
The Nanolink Permit Promissory Note from the Ralnel is going to come in handy, and it works slightly different than their Nanomachines faction ability. Basically, it allows me to just move my structures around the board just to adjacent systems.
All right, and then I'm finally going to pass, and this actually unlocks my commander because I have to be the last player to pass during an action phase. So when I declare retreat now, I can immediately retreat up to 2 of my ships from the active system without having to do the combat.
So starting off the status phase, the Ralnel player, Armand, and Adam, the Volwraith player, are going to be able to use their Entropic Scars, and they're both going to spend a strategy token in order to do so.
All right, as the Ralnel player, I will use a token to get my Nanomachines. This has 3 different actions on it that all exhaust the card, but each action's pretty good.
And I'm going to get my faction-specific tech, Vortex. As an action, I can exhaust it to choose another player's non-structure unit in a system that is adjacent to one of my space docks. I capture a unit of that type from their reinforcements. Vortex is a very key tech for Volwraith. I really should be, fighting people and doing stuff, so this next round, I for sure need to be moving in to the Fracture to start stealing units, producing units for free, and also getting units to go and get free unit upgrade techs, because that's a stage 2 objective.
And then we'll do the rest of the status phase by taking off our command tokens, redistributing them, gaining them, and some action cards, and we'll see you in the agenda phase.
Alright, Public Disgrace is one of the action cards I drew at the end here, and this is a really good tempo play. This allows me to pretty much tell someone that's picking a strategy card and say, you pick something else now, haha, which could be super good to stop maybe Ethan from grabbing Imperial or Amon from grabbing Leadership, because he's probably going to do that and he's going to be super wealthy, and I'm going to be poor over here with 2 movement and 1 strategy token for next round. And the other is Warfare Rider. If I vote aloud, I can probably get a free Dreadnought, which will be sick. That'll be great to take into the Fracture with me. Actually, that'll work really well with Confounding Legal Text, which is the one that Armand gave me when he drew 2 and gave 1, which allows me to change the elected player to myself. If I can use those in tandem, that would be sweet.
Going into the first agenda phase, I actually feel pretty powerful because having Mechatol Rex and the couple of others give me 12 influence, which, even though I only have a couple of planets, is great.
Alrighty, it's time for the agenda phase. Just as a reminder for everyone, we are playing with Hidden Agenda, so we're not allowed to discuss anything, and they will write down how many votes they're choosing for, against, elect player, whatever it ends up being, and then I will read out the totals that were voted. Let's get started. So, we have Rearmament Agreement. This is a directive, so if we vote for, each player places 1 mech from their reinforcements on a planet they control in their home system. If we vote against, each player replaces each of their mechs with 1 infantry from their reinforcements. All right. Without discussing, we're going to go tally up the votes, and we'll get back to you.
I'm the only one who would lose a mech here, so like, I have 5 influence. This isn't worth voting for. I'll just lose it if I lose it. I got it for free anyway off of my technology.
So we've tallied up the votes, and it is going to be 0 votes against, 4 votes for. So the directive will pass 4. We'll all get to put a mech from our reinforcements into our home systems. So for our second agenda, we have Unconventional Measures. This is another directive that says 4. Each player that voted for draws 2 action cards. And against, each player that voted for discards all of their action cards. All right. Does anyone have any when or after agenda is revealed action cards they would like to play?
All right, I have a Warfare Rider, which says, after an agenda is revealed, I cannot vote on this agenda. I predict aloud an outcome of this agenda. If I'm correct, I get a Dreadnought from my reinforcements and put it in a system that contains 1 or more of my ships.
All right, what do you...
In this case, I think people are going to get some action cards. So, I'm saying 4.
Okay. I actually also have an action card that I would like to play after an agenda is revealed. I'm going to play Insider Information. I just get to look at the top 3 cards of the agenda deck. Good info for later. So we'll go tally up our votes. Oh, well, just ours. And we'll get back to you.
I'm just going to put everything 4 at this point, because even though Armand is a little bit worrisome, who I'm really worried about is Adam. And Adam can't even get the cards because he can't vote for, considering he played the Warfare Rider. So I don't care if he gets his Dreadnought, and I assume that Armand probably wants a couple of cool action cards. I could be risking it, but I think this is pretty much a shoo-in.
All right, so we've tallied up the votes, and this is actually split. There was 8 votes for and 9 votes against. So each player that voted for discards all their cards, and Adam predicted incorrectly.
I did. And I had enough to kind of vote that direction, but I was a little scared. I was like, well, damn, that's not how I predicted that to go at all.
That is...
I think action cards in Ethan's end, he had like 4 or 5.
That is rough. Oh, man, I feel kind of bad for Ethan. My thought process in that agenda was really just to minimize anything that people were getting. I was like, okay, no one will get cards, no one will get a Dreadnought, no one will get anything. We'll just kind of like push through here, because I end up getting action cards anyway from a few of my faction abilities. So I just didn't really need them. And I kind of thought Ethan was on the same page, but I guess not. Sorry, dude.
Bro. No way, bro.
Okay, so I really thought they were going to go for the cards. I mean, it's 2 free cards, but I guess Armand was more focused on keeping everyone else kind of poor while he just slowly builds up action cards. And I didn't get my Dreadnought, so I can't take that into the fracture with me.
Okay. All right.
On the plus side, I did get to play insider information, so I know that the next 3 agendas are going to be 3 directives. The first one is going to elect a strategy card, and the next 2 are going to elect a player. So we'll have to keep an eye out on Adam to see if he's going to end up using that card that I gave him. Well, let's get back to round 2. Alrighty, Ralmel's a speaker, so I think I'm going to press my advantage a little bit, and I'm going to keep the leadership card to myself.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Armand sees the line. Just take leadership, get a bunch of tokens, and leave Ethan and I starving for resources. Plus, then he gets advantages for being the last one to pass in the round. He's just going to do whatever he wants.
I feel like I can't do anything without some cash. So even though I'd like technology, Imperial, Warfare, but pretty much every other card, I feel like I'm kind of stuck in a corner and should probably just take trade.
Alright, I am really poor, and leadership's gone, and trade's gone, so I think getting myself an extra move with Warfare might be really beneficial this round.
I had to skip out on the tech strat last round, so I think I'll remedy that, and I will take tech this time. Alrighty, so this round I got leadership and tech. Leadership is going to help me stay ahead in these command tokens so I can keep, like stalling out and then doing everything I need to do at the very end, just like the Ralnel wants to do. And technology is actually going to help me shoot ahead really quickly in some of these tech objectives and stuff like that. I also still have the overrule card, so I can use tech twice. The tech primary I can use twice.
All right, again, there's a couple that I really would like here. And I do understand if all of you in the audience are thinking that I'm an idiot for just continuously doing this, but I just feel like points are worth it. So as the Winnu, my second card will be Imperial, just like before.
I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place here. I mean, the options aren't terrible. Politics kind of just makes the most sense. Help me set up for next round. And maybe get leadership. So I'm grabbing politics.
Okay, I really wanted to grab diplomacy instead of politics, but the thing is, politics is just a safer route. Diplomacy would be used so I can try and force him to not be able to go to that planet right next to his home system, so I can get that 2-pointer. The thing is, I'd have to immediately use it, because why wouldn't he just go and grab that planet? And then I don't actually exhaust anything for diplomacy, or unexhaust anything for diplomacy. It just seems way riskier, and I'm not getting as much out of it, so I think the safe bet is giving myself the speaker token for this upcoming round.
All right, that means construction and diplomacy are left over. We'll drop a couple trade goods on them and move into the first action of the action phase.
Now, I know I have 0 points after round 1, but I think I have a way to get a bunch of points by the end of this round that'll make people forget about round 1. Okay? Alright, the Ralnel's going to start this round off again, and I think I'm going to use my agent. So I will draw 2 action cards, and I will give 1 to another player.
And I, as the Winnu, is the player that he gave the other action card to. Let's go. A little bit of compensation.
All right, I'm actually going to start this round off by immediately popping politics. This lets me choose a player other than the speaker, which is currently Armand. They get the speaker token. I'll draw 2 action cards and look at the top 2 of the agenda deck, and I can put them on the top or bottom or however I'd like.
Ooh, okay. Shield's holding off of the action card from politics. This is really nice. Okay, so if I go into the fracture, I have a little bit of a buffer if they, get all their hits and I miss all of mine.
And I'm actually, in this case, going to give the speaker to Ethan, as we sort of agreed that next turn he'll let me pick anything I want, and this makes it so that I don't get completely screwed over and become last in turn order the following round.
Okay, so Ethan just talked to me and said he was going to give me his Winnu promissory note if I give him the speaker, and that he would literally let me pick any strategy card the next round, essentially making me the speaker, except I guess for the second card pick. That seems pretty good. That allows me with his secondary, with his card, it allows me to do the secondary of one of the strategy cards he uses, which is really solid, so I think I'm going to take him up on that deal.
Would you guys like to spend a token from your strat pool to draw 2 action cards?
Looks like Arman is going to skip on the action cards, but as the Winnu, I am going to go ahead and take advantage of that. All right, me as the Winnu, I'm going to activate the Tempesta system, moving my carrier and the 1 infantry from Mechatol Rex over to Tempesta. We'll explore it. It's a hazardous planet, and it's going to be core mine. If I have at least 1 mech on this planet, or if I remove an infantry, gain a trade good. Pretty much exactly what I was looking for.
I want to take a moment randomly here to shout out the sponsor of this video, which are our own YouTube channel memberships. If you support at any tier, it's very appreciated. And the student tier and above, you get to see an exclusive after report, which is basically a behind the scenes on how we created the map, on how we determine different things, on the actual production of this sort of galactic report after today's show, which is super cool and kind of more of a podcasty feel if you want to learn more about us. Either way, thank you so much to the people who are already YouTube members, and I really appreciate you watching whether you're a member or not.
All right, I will activate Lasab, and I will go ahead and bring over this Dreadnought and an infantry, and we will go ahead and explore it for the industrial. And we've got a functioning base, so I can gain a commodity, or I can spend a trade good or a commodity to draw an action card. I think I just gain a commodity.
All right, so again, I'm going to run it back, and I'm actually going to pop Warfare, and I'm going to perform a tactical action in my home system, which will lead me to be able to produce, and then everyone else can spend a token from their strat pool to produce in their home systems as well. And I got a little ahead of myself, but I am literally just going to be making my flagship. That's what I'm doing.
Ralnell will choose not to, just because we already got some stuff there, so...
And as the Winnu, I am going to spend a token. You'll see a couple carriers and a mech pop up.
And let's not forget, I have self-assembly routines, so I will exhaust that to get a mech when I do my production.
Hope's End looks a little bit lonely, so I'm going to go ahead and activate that and move one of my carriers and a mech along to it. Hope's End is a hazardous planet, so we'll go ahead and explore that, being a hazardous relic fragment. That's pretty nice. And then, after my tactical action, where my mech landed on a planet, I can go ahead and place a Space Docker PDS on that planet.
Being able to move around my Winnu mechs, especially with that Hope's End ability, makes the Winnu mechs that are already powerful so much more powerful. I love this faction because that commander, the mechs, and all of the abilities around the legendary planets, including the breakthrough, makes them such a strong contender for specifically legendary planets, which is interesting considering we have such a crazy legendary planet board.
That being said, Hope's End also has a legendary planet ability, called the Imperial Arms Vault. I can exhaust this card at the end of my turn to place a mech from my reinforcements on any planet I control, or draw an action card. I am going to exhaust it to place a mech on my home system.
So I'm going to do something a little bit crazy, a little bit wild. I have an Overrule card that I'm going to immediately play, and I'm gonna do technology.
Oh man.
I get to perform the primary ability of a ready or unchosen strategy card. So there it is.
Bro is just living large and lavish. What?
All right, using my green-yellow synergy, I will be able to research the PDS-2, and then I think I'm not going to spend the 6 resources on this go-around.
Overrule being used early is not something I've seen very often. I usually see it being used on Imperial in order to just randomly score a point off Mechatol, but when points don't matter quite as much as just rushing objectives, this is an interesting use. Being able to use technology twice in one round might actually get him some points.
All right, it is time to do the thing that the Cabal is really good at now, and the thing that we really haven't done too much of in general, which is going into the Fracture. So I'm going to actually activate this system over here for these 2 planets, and I'm going to move my flagship carrier, 2 mechs, some fighters, another infantry. We're going to go to war.
So no action cards to play right away, but we'll go ahead and start the first round of combat. I'll be rolling for the neutral units, starting off with the neutral carrier. Most of these are upgraded, but the carrier is still only going to hit on a 9. That's not a hit, and the fighters hit on an 8. That is no hits.
All right, I'm going to start off with my fighters, and those hit on a 9. That's 1 hit. Next, I'll do my carrier, which is also a 9. No hits. And then I will do my flagship, which hits on a 5 and rolls 2 die. Wow, no hits.
A single fighter from them gets removed, which does get captured by the Cabal. Second round, the fighters are going to hit on 8s. That is 1 hit. And then the carrier hits on a 9. That is another hit.
Okay, wow, that's kind of BS. What the heck? Let's see if my fighters can get some hits themselves. That is no hits from the fighters. We'll see about that old carrier. Is that a hit? Is that a 10? Okay, that's a hit. And then we'll do my flagship as well, which that'll be 2 hits. So 3 total for me and 2 for the neutral units.
So all of the fighters get removed, and 2 of his fighters get removed, and all 5 get captured by the Cabal because of the flagship. All right, the neutral carrier will fight back on a 9. Nope, that's not a hit.
Yeah, let's go. Get out of here. Both my carrier and fighter roll on 9, so I'm just going to roll them at the same time. No hits. Let's hope that the flagship can do the job. That is 1 hit.
That takes out the carrier, which the Cabal will capture.
Jeez, the Cabal is scary in combat. I'm really glad those are neutral units, because if those are my units, I'd be crying probably.
Firstly, the Cabal will bombard 5x1 on Leith, the top planet. This hits on a 5, and that does hit. The infantry does get removed, so he instantly takes this planet and captures the infantry. Then it's pure ground combat on Phlegathon. The neutral infantry hits on an 8. That is not a hit.
All right, my infantry also hit on an 8. Not a hit. And my mechs hit on a 6. That's an 8. That's a hit.
Finally, that infantry will be captured one more time by the Volwraith Cabal, leaving both planets to Adam.
Give me your units.
All right, so I will get control of both of those planets, and when I do, I will get a relic for each. First relic, Dynamis Core. While this card is in your play area, your commodity value is increased by 2. That's pretty good. And as an action, I can gain trade goods equal to my commodity value and then purge the card. Pretty sweet. And for the second one, ooh, JRXS455-0. It's the Lost Titan prototype. As an action, I can exhaust this agent and choose a player. That player may spend 3 resources to place a structure on a planet they control. If they do not, they gain a trade good. All right, I guess I'm just getting all these trade goods, huh? Sweet.
Never have I felt so poor, yet so rich at the same time. Like, they're good, but I still don't feel that bad.
Alright, as the Winnu, I'm going to activate the Rigel Tri-System and bring my carrier from my home system with a couple of infantry and a couple of mechs. In order to do this, I'm not only using Gravity Drive as normal, but also the Ionian Fuel Refinery, adding +1 to the move value of one of my ships, giving it +2. There's so many legendary planets on this board with so many different crazy abilities. The legendary planets from Thunder's Edge are insane. First, I'll explore Rigel 1, which is a hazardous. This is going to be a volatile fuel source. If I have at least 1 mech on this planet, I can gain a command token. I'll go ahead and do that. Then we have Rigel 2, an industrial planet, which the exploration is going to be a functioning base. You may gain a commodity or spend a trade good or commodity to draw an action card. Right now I don't have any, so I'll just gain a commodity. And then finally, Rigel 3, which is another industrial and is an industrial relic fragment. That may come in handy, but I only have a hazardous at the moment. And then I'm going to create a PDS on Rigel 3 and a PDS on Rigel 2 because of the mech's ability.
Alrighty, I'm going to finally use my nanomachines, so I'm going to exhaust it for the top action. I'm going to place a PDS on Tirana.
Alrighty, for my next move, I'm going to activate the system right in front of my home system. I'm going to move something in there and try and grab Atlas. So I'm moving over to Atlas, and we're going to explore. Expedition. If I have at least 1 mech on this planet, or if I remove an infantry, I get to ready it. Okay, that's pretty sweet. I'll take that. This is a 3 planet, so that's pretty good.
Alright, I've officially ran out of money as the Winnu, so I need to use the trade card. I'll gain 3 trade goods and then replenish my own commodities, and then I'll be able to choose any number of other players, and those players use the secondary of this ability without spending a command token, which is just replenishing commodities.
All right, so I made an agreement with Ethan that if he refilled my commodities, I would use my agent on him, which says, after another player replenishes commodities, I can exhaust this card to convert their commodities to trade goods and capture a unit from the reinforcements that has cost equal to or lower than their commodity value. So, Ethan can turn his commodities into trade goods, and I can take something 3 or less from his reinforcements, which in this case will be a carrier.
And I will replenish Armand for free, as long as he gives me a single trade good, which I think is pretty fair. I also agreed to flip Adam's commodities as long as he gave me one of the trade goods, so I ended up this action with 8 trade goods total.
Okay, so I can theoretically keep stalling out leadership here, just like even longer than I have been. I'm starting to feel kind of bad. I think I'll end up using it here because Adam certainly needs it badly.
Alrighty, I think it's finally time to use leadership. I'm also going to, same as last time, use Replo Orisket, so I will get 4 tokens in total.
As the Winu, I'm only going to be using Mechatol Rex, so I'll get 2 tokens total.
And the best I can do is use my legendary planet Faunus and get 1 token. Alright, so Atlas honestly coming in refreshed is super nice, which actually allows me to use the brand new little agent I got to exhaust it and choose a player myself. I can spend 3 resources, which I'll use from Atlas, to put a structure on a planet I control, and I'm going to do Faunus. And I'm going to put a space dock.
Okay, so Ethan took Tempesta near me, and it looks like he's going for a few other legendary planets, but at the moment, MLPAR is open, and Mechatol Rex is looking kinda sparse. So, I kind of have a choice here. I could go for either, and then end up getting the 4-system objective. I just kind of have to figure out which one I want to go for, whether it be MLPAR or Mechatol Rex. I'm going to stall it out just like the Ralnel does, and then wait for the perfect time to strike, but we'll have to see which one ends up being better.
Alright, as the Winu, Adam, Armand, and myself have made kind of a 3-way sort of thing. At least Adam and I have a deal. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the MLPAR system. With this, I am going to play Nano Link Permit. After I activate a system, I can move my structures from adjacent systems that don't contain my command tokens onto planets I control in the active system. Then return to this card to the Ralnel player. So I'm going to move this PDS onto this planet and take the planet by doing it. MLPAR is a cultural planet, so we'll explore it. That is going to be freelancers. You may produce a unit in this system, and may spend influence as if it were resources to produce this unit. I am going to choose not to do freelancers, and instead I'll just use MLPAR's legendary ability. So I'll use the MLPAR legendary planet ability, the Acropolis, that I know so well from the second Galactic Report. It says you may exhaust this card at the end of your turn to ready another component that is not a strategy card. Now, this does not specify that it has to be a card I have in my play area. So I'm going to exhaust it, and Adam will tell me which of his he wants me to ready.
With our agreement, I will ready my home planet, which has a 4 resource, 0 influence.
That way, I use the legendary planet ability for his benefit, but he's not going to come in and take this from me until I score some points with it.
So Ethan offered to use Emplar's legendary ability on me if I let him take it. He needs it for the public objective. Sure, I guess. I don't really want to fight over it. And I get to save a token moving my stuff over there. So I guess I just get to unexhaust my planet and I don't have to spend trade goods on technology anymore. Sounds good.
Alrighty, I guess this is where I come in and I get to do my little thing here. We are going to activate MLPAR, and we are just going to bring our destroyer, and I guess this PDS kind of has to come, in through here, and we're just going to occupy the space area of MLPAR.
Now for the first time, I'm going to use my faction technology, Vortex. It's an action. I can exhaust this card to choose another player's non-structure unit in a system that is adjacent to one or more of my space docks, which I just put one up in the top, and I can capture a unit from that player's reinforcements. I'm going to exhaust this, and Ethan, I'm going to capture your, unfortunately, last mech from your reinforcements.
Aw, that kind of sucks. I like my reclaimers. That's okay. All right, the Winu's got not much else to do, so I'm going to play Imperial. Immediately score a public objective if I fulfill its requirements. I am going to do the 2, have 4 units in 4 systems that contain legendary planets, Megatol Rex, or anomalies. It's going to be Megatol Rex, Emilpar, as well as Tempesta and Hope's End. Then I'll gain a victory point because I control Megatol Rex.
Winu for the win! We deserve Megatol Rex!
After that, all other players can spend a token from their strategy pool to draw a secret objective if they'd like.
I think as the round element, choose not to this time.
I am going to use the promissory note from Ethan, which is when the Winu player resolves a strategic action, I don't need to spend a command token to resolve it, and I can return this to the player, so I will, in fact, get a secret objective. I don't have any currently.
Please don't be asked. Please don't be asked. Please don't be asked. Please.
And then at the end of my turn, I'll go ahead and claim this section of the Expedition Slice, which is spending 3 trade goods in order to gain Winu's faction breakthrough. This is the Imperator, which applies +1 to the results of each of my unit's combat rolls for each support for the throne in my opponent's play area, which is the person I'm fighting at the time. But the more important ability, after I activate a system that contains a legendary planet, apply +1 to the move value of one of my ships during this tactical action. It also synergizes the blue-red technology colors.
No way. This is the same one I ditched at the beginning. I don't have enough influence. This place is poor as hell. I'm poor as hell.
Alrighty, I will then activate the Lennox system, and I will move the carrier and everything in here. Well, maybe not everything. We'll keep a guy, and we will explore Lennox for an industrial relic fragment. There are 3 in the game now.
Because of the magic of editing, you get to skip right past this, which I imagine is a lot of fun while watching a Galactic report, but what you didn't get to see was that Adam just spent over 20 minutes to decide that he was going to pass.
Whoa, wait, hold up. I actually have 11. This is crazy. I can grab that planet right next to Armand because he hasn't taken it yet, and I'll get my 12. I'll actually score this.
Alrighty, so I'm going to pass, but don't forget I have this legendary planet ability, so I'm going to exhaust it when I pass to gain control of a non-home system, non-legendary planet that contains no units, has no attachments. This one chilling over by Armand's pretty free, so I'll take Tarman. With that, I'll explore, and it is abandoned warehouses. You may gain 2 commodities or convert up to 2 of your commodities trade goods. Well, I don't have any commodities, so I guess I will get to 2 commodities. And lastly, I am actually going to, because I've got Olargot and I didn't do anything with it this round, I'm going to exhaust a tech specialty planet to put another one of my tokens right over here.
Nobody has used an action card during the action phase? What is going on? I need some data to skip. I'm getting nothing from my breakthrough.
All right, I don't have much else to do, so for the Winu's turn, I'm just going to go ahead and pass for the round.
Alrighty, I kind of just have free reign as Ralnel now, as they like to do, but first I will do technology, because I kind of have to do that. So I'm going to research biostems, and then I'm going to spend 6 resources from my planets, mostly Lodor, to also research Cruiser 2s. I do have the green-yellow synergy, so I've got all those requirements. Adam and Ethan can spend a token from the strategy pool and 4 resources to research a technology.
All right, as the Winu, I will go ahead and spend a token and a few resources in order to get Carrier 2.
There's a lot of things I would like to tech up right now, but I think one of the most important things is, looking forward for the next few turns, so I'm going to get Hyper Metabolism. So this, during the status phase, just allows me to get 3 command tokens instead of 2.
Alrighty, then I'm going to use an action card called Strategize, and I'm actually going to perform the secondary ability of Construction. So I'm going to go ahead and put a space dock here on Lodor. And at the end of that turn, I'm also going to activate Biostems and exhaust it so I can ready nanomachines. Just going to keep going. We're just going to use the action to place a PDS on a planet I control. We're going to activate this system here, and we are going to bring a destroyer into there. Nothing else. And last but certainly not least, we are activating Garbosia, and we are bringing in a 3-movement destroyer to there as well. And you know what? Just for the sake of it, we will bring a PDS with it. All right, and with that, I am finally passing the round.
So now with all of us passed, we're going into the status phase, starting off with Armand's ability to spend a strategy token to utilize the Entropic Scar.
All right, we are going to use our strategy token, and we are going to get our second Ralnell tech, which is the Link Ship 2s.
And then we'll go into scoring, starting with the Ralnell player. Armand, would you like to tell us any public or secret objectives that you have?
All right, so in a crazy turn of events, I'm actually going to be scoring 5 objectives. The first one here is foster cohesion, which is to be neighbors with all players. We have the wormhole here. Actually, in many ways, I'm doing that, so we will score that. I have 7 or more structures on the board with PDSs and space docks, so we'll score that.
People, settle down. The man only got 7 structures on turn 2, okay? Just settle down.
I have units in 4 systems with legendary planets and anomalies, so we can score that. I have 3 unit tech upgrades, being PDS 2, Link Ship 2, and Cruiser 2.
When did this man get 3 unit upgrades? That's supposed to be my thing. I get unit upgrades for free, kind of, sort of, but I should for free? What? When did that happen?
And Make History is kind of just the same as this one, but easier. So that one's kind of a free 1 point. But all said and done, that's 8 points for Ralnell. 8 points? That's insane. I mean, I knew I was going to get a bunch of points. I didn't even do the math until there was time to score objectives. 8 points is crazy. From 0 to 8? Yeah, good thing we are not playing a 10-point game.
I have mixed feelings about Civilized Society. So I was going into this thinking, okay, it's going to speed up the game. And it has, but also it gives this little bit of push and pull to where it's kind of like every public objective sort of acts like an action card secret objective, where you don't mind actually holding it till later to gain a bunch all in one go.
And I also unlock my hero very quickly. All right, so the Ralnell hero says, after the last player passes, you may choose to no longer be passed. If you do, gain 2 command tokens, draw an action card, and purge this card.
All right, so I have a secret objective, the one I actually just drew, and it is establish hegemony. Control planets that have a combined influence value of at least 12. I perfectly have 12, and it was after I grabbed the one Tarman right next to Armand's, so I will get that. Next up, because I have Tarman and I have Olorgot from earlier, I will score having 2 planets in systems adjacent to other players' home systems. So that's 2 points. And then finally, I do control 6 planets that are non-home system planets. So for me this round, I'm getting 4, putting me up to 7. And just like Armand, I will unlock my hero, Dimensional Anchor. It's an action. It says each other player rolls a die for each of their non-fighter ships that are in or adjacent to a system that contains one of my dimensional tears, which are my space docks. If they roll 1 to 3, I capture a unit, and if this causes a player's ground forces or fighters to be removed, I also capture those units, and then I purge the card.
And as the Winnu, I'll start off with scoring my secret, which is have 4 PDS on the game board. Establish a perimeter. Then I'll score have units in 2 systems that contain legendary planets, Mechatol Rex, or anomalies, as well as controlling 6 planets in non-home systems. And finally, I'll score have 7 or more structures. That's a total of 5 points for the Winnu.
What the is this bullet?
And this is the point in which I would have won if it was 10 points. Good thing we're playing till 14.
This also unlocks my hero, Imperial Seal. As an action, perform the primary ability of any strategy card. Then choose any number of other players. Those players may perform the secondary ability of that card. Then purge this card. After that, we'll take everything off the game board, gain some tokens, refresh our planets, and do all the good stuff. And then we'll see you in the second agenda phase.
All right, as the speaker, we'll start with our first agenda, unless there's any action cards to play at the beginning.
Not yet.
No? All right, so no talking once again, other than playing action cards and the such, but I'm going to read off Galactic Crisis Pact. It's a directive, and we elect a strategy card. Each player may perform the secondary ability of the elected strategy card without spending a command token. Command tokens placed by the ability are placed from a player's reinforcements instead. Do we have any action cards to play?
Nope.
No? we're going to count up some votes. They're going to tell me in private, and I'll tell you what the strategy card is.
I'm pretty sure everyone's going to vote tech here, but I might as well throw a little bit just to make sure or support it a little bit. But I feel like we're going to go for tech.
With everything totaled up, it is going to be 0 for everything except for tech, which they got 13 votes. So we're going to go ahead and do the secondary of technology, and we'll each tell you what we're going to gain from it.
Golly keeps licking my hand.
So the technology that I got is light wave deflector. Your ships can move through systems that contain other players' ships.
Yep. I just got good old plasma scoring. My units that use bombardment or space cannon roll an additional die, and I've got a lot of PDSs.
Okay.
And I got Fighter 2. I used one of my captured units from the neutral units to pay for the actual requirements, even though I think I might have them. Doesn't matter. I'm using them as a resource. I got Fighter 2 now.
All right, and then the second agenda is Minister of Antiquities. Directive. Elect player. The elected player gains a relic. I think we've seen this one before.
You sure have.
We're going to count up votes and be right back.
Ah, elect player. You mean free relic for Adam Day.
Cha-ching!
All right, I've got the relic deck right here ready to go. We have 3 votes for Armand, 7 votes for Adam, and 18 votes for myself. Being that I'm the Winnu and I kind of control Mechatol Rex still at the moment, I was pretty sure that was going to come out, but...
Actually, I have a card to play. Confounding legal text. Whenever another player is elected the outcome of an agenda, you are the elected player instead.
All right, so I knew as soon as I saw the Minister of Antiquities when I used the action card last round that Adam was going to use confounding legal text on it. So I basically had no way of getting that.
I'll be taking my relic, please.
Actually, that's pretty cool. All right, this better be a good one.
I hope so. I really hope so. 'Cause
I was kind of hoping I would get a relic, but you know what? If anybody's going to get it, it might as well be Adam. He needs a little bit of help right now.
I do still have 2 relic fragments, so I could get a relic the old-fashioned way.
Man, after that second round, okay, let's see.
We're breaking the we can't talk during the agenda phase, but yeah, that round kind of blew.
I mean,
There's
it's over at this point, yeah.
It's Jover. It's
It's
Jover. What is it?
Jover.
What is it? Oh, it's the triad. That would have been helpful earlier. The triad is a relic.
Weren't you talking about wanting this one?
Yeah, earlier. And then I guess it didn't really matter. I mean, it's still nice. This card can be readied and spent as if it were a planet card. Its resource and influence values are equal to 3 plus the number of different relic fragments you own. I do have a cultural one, so it is going to be a 4/4 planet, essentially, which is always good. You can't complain about stuff like that.
Yeah. Too bad it's not the quantum core for that.
Too bad
2
it's a
and 4
lot of,
colors.
not a lot of things.
Oh,
I kind of
geez,
really
yeah.
wanted some text, so that would
Quantum
have
core
been,
would go hard.
All right.
been nice.
Well,
Freeze free.
that was an interesting turn of events, but we will see you in the next strategy phase.
At the start of the strategy phase, I'm going to use manipulate investments. So I get to place 5 trade goods from the supply on strategy cards of my choice. I have to put them in at least 3 different cards. But then when we choose the strategy, we get to take those.
All right, as part of a deal that Adam and I had earlier, and him giving me the speaker token, I'm going to let him decide which of these cards that I can't take this first time around. And he decided leadership. And I may or may not have taken leadership, but either way, I'm going to go ahead and take technology.
Ethan is correct. I asked for him not to take leadership, and I still really need tokens. Unfortunately, this feels like it's the last round, but I'm going to need tokens for maybe the last round here, so I will take leadership to give myself some more tokens.
Alrighty, I think I want to be going before Ethan here, and the only way to guarantee that is to take diplomacy. Now, this does give Ethan a chance at double Imperial, but it's a chance I might have to take.
I think this time taking Imperial just puts a target on my very lonely Mechatol Rex's back. So, in order to sort of work around this, I am going to take Warfare.
Okay, there's a lot of shenanigans going on, and there's so many different options, and I'll be honest, I think I really need to go another round, so I'm really just going to try and build up for another round if that's possible. we'll see how this round plays out. So I'm going to grab construction.
All right, I put some trade goods on here for later, so I will pick politics in the hopes that we can get to a next round that I'm the speaker on. All right, so I ended up taking diplomacy and politics. Diplomacy was honestly just chosen so I could go before Ethan, hopefully stop him there on Mechatol Rex. And then politics is going to be really good because if I can stall this out to another round, then I can be the speaker and I can get my first pick for what is undoubtedly going to be the last round of the game.
And with that, we'll place trade goods and we'll see you in the action phase.
Alrighty, I am going to start off the round by using Junior here, and I'm going to spend Atlas to put a structure on a planet I control. I'm going to go and place a PDS on my home planet.
Honestly, my only hope this round is to stop Ethan from getting 14 points so we can get to another round. I don't see myself getting enough points, so I'm hoping I can set myself up for some good points next round and take this victory.
All right, so I've struck a deal with Ethan. I'm going to use the Ralnel agent, and I will be giving him both the card and the choice of which card he gets for his cultural relic fragment. So that'll give me 3, but he will get to choose out of these 2 action cards which he gets to keep and which I get to keep. I know I really should fight Ethan on Mechatol Rex. He's like so close to winning, but like I don't see that like he has it. I don't think he has it just yet, and I would rather be safer with my plays, I feel like. So I am going to give him the card from the agent, and I will let him look at it. He did take Extreme Duress, which is kind of bad for Adam because he's probably going to use it on that for leadership.
Alright, so he has enough relic fragments to get a relic whenever he wants with those 3 industrial relic fragments, and I've got an action card, one of the 2 that he drew. Interesting. Extreme Duress is an interesting action card, and I really hope it comes in handy. I'm going to need it in order to make sure that Adam at least plays leadership before he comes and tries to attack my home system, or Mechatol Rex. I want to make sure that I get as much value out of those 2 things as I can.
Yeah, sorry, Adam, but I think this is gonna be a good way to go for this game.
Alright, on my first turn, I'm going to trade Arman Acquiescence, this is Winu's promissory note once again, in order for the promise that he's going to wait 1 more turn to take Mechatol Rex. This deal with Arman is non-binding, but he is a man of his word, so we'll see what happens. The action on my turn is going to be an interesting one. I'm going to use Enigmatic Device. As an action, I can spend 6 resources and purge this card to research a technology. This is going to be Fleet Logistics. During each of my turns of the action phase, I can perform 2 actions instead of 1. Now, because of that, I'm going to take a second action immediately, which is going to be the Technology Strategy card. First of all, I'll research a technology, and then I will spend the extra 6 resources to research another technology. The secondary ability is then to spend a token from their strategy pool and 4 resources so they can research a technology each if they'd like. So my technologies will be Fighter 2 and Destroyer 2.
All right, I'm going to return Acquiescence to Ethan, so I don't have to pay the command token, but I'll still pay the 4 resources, and I'm going to research Graviton Laser System.
I'm going to use my home system for that 4 resources. I'm going to take on one of those carriers that I got from the neutral units, and I'm going to research upgraded carriers.
And then at the end of my turn, I'll use the Imperial Arms Vault. I can exhaust this card to place a mech from my reinforcements or draw an action card, of which I'll draw an action card. And I'll also spend the Acropolis. You may exhaust this card at the end of your turn to ready another component that is not a strategy card. The component that I readied is going to be Hope's End Imperial Arms Vault, and then I'll exhaust it again to draw another action card at the end of my turn.
Damn it. Damn it, damn it, damn it. I was really hoping he'd forget about using that Legendary Planet ability because that was my only realistic way of actually getting the 2 points for the 7 structures. Now I literally don't think there's any way for me to do it. So I'm really investing in this plan of stop Ethan.
Alrighty, I'm going to start off by popping construction. So again, I'm going to place a structure on a planet I control. I could use the production of a space dock. I'm actually not going to. And then I'm going to place another structure on a planet I control. In this case, I'm actually going to move one of my space docks over here, since we only get 3, and put it into the fracture on one of those planets. And then I'm also going to put another PDS on my home system. Would either of you guys like to spend a token from your strategy pool to put a structure on a planet you control?
I think the round is going to pass on that.
Same with the Winu. No thanks.
I'm going to purge the 3 relic fragments I have here, and we are going to go ahead and pull ourselves a relic. We have Metalli Void Shielding. Each time hits are produced against one or more of my non-fighter ships, one of those ships may use sustained damage as if it had that ability. That's actually really cool for my link ships. All right.
Maybe I'll try to take sticks or go for empty systems or even attachments. I don't know. All of these options are available, but they all leave me pretty weak and spread out. I'm not really sure what to do right now.
All right, for my first action on my turn, I'll use Warfare. Perform a tactical action in a system without placing a command token, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be my home system. I moved carriers from the systems over here back home with a few of my mechs, as well as spending 7 trade goods and flipping over 1 resource from a planet to build my flagship in my home system. The secondary is to spend a token from their strategy pool to use the production abilities of the units in their home system. Adam, are you going to do it?
Yeah, I'll gladly build some stuff in my home system.
Same here.
And for my second action on my turn, I'm going to use Winu's Hero. The Imperial Seal is an action. Perform the primary ability of any strategy card. I'm going to choose Imperial. Then choose any number of other players. Those players may perform the secondary ability of that card. So I'll do Imperial, immediately score public objective if I fulfill its requirements. I'm not going to worry about it right at the moment. But I do get a victory point because I control Mechatol Rex. I'm not going to give the opportunity to the other 2. 1, because I don't really want them to have a secret objective, but 2, neither one of them have a token in their strategy pool, so it's useless to them anyway. So I'm just going to use Imperial, get that point, and it's going to be Adam's turn.
I'm trying to wait for the perfect time. Extreme Duress is still in my hand, and I have a lot of floating influence. I think I wait one more turn. I hope this is not regretful.
All right, so I'm actually just going to purge my Dynamis core, which increased my commodities by 2. So I already had 2, so I'll get 4 trade goods, and that's all I'm going to do for my action right now. I honestly kind of just did this to stall. I want to see what more tricks Ethan has up his sleeve, although it's pretty inevitable that he's probably going to get 5 ships in his home system or have 3 ships in space somewhere, so I don't know. I just need to see what he's going to do, and if it is the last round, I might as well get as many trade goods as possible.
I am going to finally activate Mechatol Rex and attempt to move in there. I will be bringing this carrier with an infantry since they are upgraded, and this dreadnought with the PDS. We're also going to pick up this PDS on the way. So we'll see you on the combat cam. After movement, my link ships actually do get to use the space cannon offense. All right, they will hit on a 5. And I've only got the 1 link ship, so we're just going to be rolling 1 die. That's a hit.
So that takes out one of my fighters.
Right, and then we will move to space combat. My link ships do have anti-fighter barrage. They roll 3 die that hit on 6s. That's 2 hits.
All right, well, the other fighter dies.
So all I can deploy here is the 1 infantry because the miniaturization of the PDSs happens at the end of the tactical action.
Yeah, you invade and my space dock gets destroyed. You can take Mechatol Rex.
Perfect.
All right, for the Winu, I'm going to play the action card Ghost Ship. As an action, place a destroyer from my reinforcements in a non-home system that contains a wormhole and does not contain other players' ships. So I don't have anti-mass deflectors, so I can't move into or through an asteroid field, but I can place. So I'm going to put a destroyer in that asteroid field.
All right, I am going...
So at the start of your turn, Extreme Duress. At the start of another player's turn, if they have a readied strategy card, if that player's next action is not a strategic action, they discard all their action cards, give you all their trade goods, and show you all their secret objectives. Adam, make your choice.
Okay, I'll use leadership then.
Wait. Yeah.
Forces.
Right then and there. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'll do it. I'll just do this so it's fine.
All right, I had to use Extreme Duress here. I could not wait any longer. I need the fleet size, and I need to go turtle back to my home system.
All right, well, Ethan has put me in a situation where I would like to try and strip him of being able to get more tokens than I would like him to get off leadership. And if he takes all my trade goods, I mean, he'll get even more. So I might as well just use leadership now and accept the fact that he will have enough to increase his fleet pool to 5. So I'm going to pop leadership. I'm going to get 3 command tokens. I'm actually going to spend a bunch of influence to get more. So I'll let you know how many I get after the fact. All right, I innately get 3, and I'm going to make 7 more, so I'm making 10 total tokens, and I'm going to throw a bunch in my fleet, some in my strategy, actually 2 in my strategy, or 3, or whatever. They're getting distributed, and what did everyone else make?
So the Ralnel used the rest of their planets and trade goods, and they spent 18 influence for 6 tokens.
And as the Winu, I made 2 tokens and put them both in fleet, so that's 5 tokens in my fleet pool right now. 2 in my tactic and 1 in my strategy.
All right. Ralnel, we're going to use politics. We're going to give ourselves the speaker token, draw 2 action cards, and look at the top 2 cards of the agenda deck. The other 2 can spend a token to draw 2 action cards.
Yes, as the Winu, I will draw a couple action cards.
And I just loaded up, so of course I'm going to draw some action cards myself.
All right, as an action, I'm going to play Economic Initiative. Ready each cultural planet I control, which right now is only 1, but that's okay.
All right, I'm just going to start by activating this nebula, and I'm going to move a fighter on in there. I have upgraded fighters so they can move on their own. He's just chilling.
I'm going to use my nanomachines to discard an action card and draw a new one.
All right, I'm going to use the action card Reactor Meltdown. As an action, I destroy a space dock in a non-home system. I'm going to Reactor Meltdown the space dock here on Faunus.
All right, I'm going to activate this system, and I'm going to move yet another fighter right on over.
All right, I'm going to activate this system here. I'm going to bring cruiser with a guy, and then we're going to bring everything here as well. And I'm going to hope for an attachment. We'll start with Tiamat. Mercenary outfit. I may place an infantry from my reinforcements on this planet. Sure! And then for Herculor, abandoned warehouses. You may gain 2 commodities or convert 2 of your commodities to trade goods. I guess I'm getting commodities.
All right, I'm going to activate this system, and since I have a ship in it, it's going to be able to explore the Frontier token with Dark Energy tap. The Frontier exploration is Merchant Station. I can replenish commodities or convert my commodities to trade goods. All right, well, I guess I can replenish commodities. And then for my second action, I'm going to place it in my home system and move this cruiser and this carrier back on home. The carrier, of course, getting gravity drive and carrier 2 to get back there.
Okay, so I might have miscalculated. I think Ethan can win. Yeah, he just got 5 ships on his home system that are non-fighters.
Yeah, this was expected. I mean, there's not much we could have done. I guess I could have gone over there, but honestly, my brain was getting all over the place. Playing with all the objectives shown at all times really makes it kind of hard to figure out what you're supposed to be doing, but I do like it. I do personally like it.
I mean, Adam could try to take one of them out. I don't even know how I get there without just a link ship dying.
All right, I'm going to activate this Scar here and move over my cruiser. That's it.
So I have to use diplomacy here, so I'm going to activate that, and I'm just going to choose, let's say, Lodor. Everyone's got to put a token in this system.
All right, and without any more things up my sleeve, Winu is going to pass for the round.
All right, I'm gassed out. We'll see what happens.
All right, well, I kind of only have one option here, which is to try and knock Ethan down a peg and remove at least one of his non-fighter ships. It's going to take a lot, and I really only have a few things I can bring with me. But we're going to start by activating the system and seeing if there's some sort of response to that.
No.
And if you're wondering exactly how I'm going to get some stuff from my home system, innately I get +1 for all of my space docks. And then I'm starting in the fracture, which according to my breakthrough, gives me +1 to all units moving if they start from the fracture. So essentially, I'm going to 1, 2. I'm going to pick guys up, and then we'll go back in 3, 4, 5, And carrier 2s have 2 movement, so we'll get 1, 2, plus the bonus 3, plus his 2 movement, 5. So I'm just going to pick up 2 fighters on my way over.
We don't have any sort of start of combat abilities or action cards or anything to play, so we're going to go right into the first combat round, which I'm going to give my ships a morale boost on the defender side. That allows me to get +1 to the results of each of my unit's combat rolls during this combat round. Additionally, natively during combat, I always get a +2 to the results of all of my combat rolls because I'm in my home system. I additionally have fighter 2s that hit nicer, but he does also have fighter 2s as well. So, Adam, you want to roll for the first round of combat?
Sure will. This is like a Hail Mary. Pinch me. I must be having deja vu. I'll do for my fighters. They roll on 8s, and I got 3 of them. That is 1 hit. Carrier is a 9. That's a hit. And then I roll 2 die for my flagship. Those hit on 5s. Wow, no hits. I think that's probably it, given the fact that 2 hits total. Yeah.
All right, my fighters are going to hit on 8s. All right, that is 3 hits because of the +3 from these 2 abilities. Then my carriers hit on 9s. That is another hit, so 4 total. Then my cruiser hits on a 7. That is a hit, so that's 5 from me total. And then my flagship is going to roll a number of dice equal to the non-fighter ships in the system of my opponents. So that's going to be 2 dice that hit on a 7, of which one of them hits. So that's 6 hits total. And I'm also going to play the Shields Holding card, canceling the 2 hits that he created. So nothing of mine gets any hits.
Sure. I also have a Shields Holding, although I feel it's not going to matter too much, to be honest.
So morale boost goes away, but I still have the Rikarakani ability. I'm going to roll for fighters, which are going to hit on 8s. That is 1 hit. Then the carriers hit on 9s. That is 2 more hits, so that's 3 hits total. The cruiser hits on a 7. That is another hit, so that's 4 hits. And then the flagship is only going to roll once, so that is 5 total hits.
I mean, I'm super dead. We'll just see if I even hit again or if my flagship is a complete moron. No, he doesn't even hit. That's awful. Okay.
Well, surviving Adam feels pretty good. I think we're in the clear. We'll see.
So we are also going to activate Ethan's home system in an attempt to take out at least one thing there. We're going to do some very interesting routing, though. I have the Crucible, which is the Cabal's promissory note that says, my ships do not roll for gravity rifts during this movement, and I can apply an additional +1 to the move values of ships that would move out of or through a gravity rift instead. My destroyers have a native movement of 4. So what I can do is I can take this destroyer, go 1, 2, 3, 4 into there, and then +2 with the gravity rift and Crucible.
There's no way, bro.
So 2 destroyers total?
Yes. Thank goodness I remember I had the Crucible. Wow, that was round 1. I should not have forgotten about that. But good luck, officers. Please do something. Use your space cannons.
These 2 destroyers coming in, this is nothing. I'm just going to crush these.
Alrighty, so we have done movement, and we're going to move to space cannon offense. I am going to use my Graviton laser system that I teched up earlier, and I'm going to exhaust it to when one or more of my units use space cannon. Hits produced by those units must be assigned to non-fighter ships. As well as I have plasma scoring, which means I'm going to roll one additional die. So we're going to roll 3. This is going to hit on 5. And we're going to hope and pray we get it. That's 2 hits.
All right, Armand. Well, that really sucks. Okay. I guess I will assign both of them to carriers and destroy 2 of my carriers, and then we'll go into combat. Of course. Well, With the way Civilized Society works, you have to play an entire another round. So I'm not even going to be able to win in the action phase next round.
Well done, boys! Your link ships will be missed, but we do get to play another round.
Lucky me.
Yep, so I do have 2 anti-fighter barrage link ships. They are going to hit on 6. I think that's all your fighters.
That is definitely all of my fighters, yep.
I've done my job, you can take me out now.
Alright, my cruiser hits on a 7. That's a hit. My carrier hits on a 9. Nope. And my flagship is going to roll twice. That is a hit. So that's 2 hits.
Hits, alright. Both of my destroyers hit on 8s. That is 1 hit.
Alright, I'll take out this cruiser here, and you take out everything.
I do have Metalli Void Shielding. I sustain damage on one of them.
Alright, and then my flagship will roll 1. That is not a hit. My carrier will roll 1. That is not a hit.
Alright, we're hitting on an 8. That is not a hit.
One more time. Carrier. Yep. Flagship. No. That's 1.
Alright, Destroyer. Not a hit. We're donezo. That was more effective than I thought it was gonna be.
That was kind of crazy. I can't believe you got as much as you did. I was just like...
Yeah, you guys are laughing at me with the 2 Destroyers.
One moment.
The show goes on, baby!
I'm very surprised we're here, but I'm going to take full advantage of it and activate the system in the fracture here. I actually unexhausted these 2 earlier when Armand used diplomacy, so I'll spend those to get a flagship, and then I've also captured some of my units that died in the fight with Ethan, as well as I captured a dreadnought earlier from Armand when he got some commodities, and then I'll produce 2 destroyers. I get some free fighters since they don't count towards my production due to my commander, and we're going to throw those bad boys on over there.
Alright, I'm going to activate the Lodor system and just speed through the tactical action to production. I'm just going to use the rest of the resources I have left from diplomacy, and we're going to put 5 non-fighter ships there. At the end of my turn, I will also be using a biostems to ready nanomachines, and I'm going to use Mechatol Rex his ability. I'm going to discard my secret and draw a new one, as well as I will trade my promissory note with Ethan for his faction promissory note.
Alrighty, I am going to be passing for the turn, but not before I use my legendary planet ability to explore or gain control of a planet that no one is on currently, which would be this one right here. So we'll go and look at an industrial, which I may gain 2 commodities or convert up to 2 commodities trade goods. I actually do have 2 commodities, so this time, because literally last time it was an abandoned warehouse, so I guess this time I'll actually gain the trade goods. So, alright. So the first 3 industrial planets that were explored were functioning base, and then the other 3 or 2 were the warehouse? Who shuffled this deck?
Every single exploration is an abandoned warehouse, or a functioning base, or a core mine. They've all been so lame, and I promise, there was no rigging. This is just how it happened.
I'll use nanomachines to discard an action card and draw an action card. And then I think finally Ralnell is going to pass for the turn. I'm going to look through Data Skimmer and grab an action card from there, and then the rest will get discarded. And we're going to get one of the shields holding that was used in Adam and Ethan's combat, and that'll be in my hand now.
And then at the start of the status phase, Adam has an opportunity to spend a token to use the Entropic Scar.
Yep, I've got one more strat token, and I'm finally going to get my Dimensional Tear 2, which is an upgrade to my space docks, giving them 2 extra production, and also makes it so that 12 fighters in the system do not count against my ship's capacity. So, this will be probably coming in handy this next round here. So, at the end of that round, I put 5 non-fighter ships in a system, so I'll score that point. Then, I also have 3 ships in systems that do not have planets. And then finally, with that last unit upgrade there with the Scar, I now have 3 unit upgrade technologies. This bumps me up 4 points, putting me at 11.
Okay, I've got a few objectives to score. First one is one that I just drew off Mechatol Rex's ability, Hoard Raw Materials. I control planets that have a combined resource value of at least 12. I did the math. It's like really close. I think I have like 14. So I'll get 1 point there. I have 5 or more non-fighter ships in this system, so we'll gain that point. And I now have 6 planets not in my home system. So I will get this one as well for a total of 3 points, also putting me at 11.
And then I, as the Winnu, unfortunately was stopped from getting 3 points, so I have to just settle with the 2-pointer of owning 3 unit upgrade technologies, moving me up to 13. After that, we'll go ahead and draw action cards and all the good stuff, and we'll see you in the 3rd agenda phase.
Going into this agenda phase, I feel a lot weaker without Mechatol Rex. This is not how the Winnu is supposed to feel, although this is how they end up feeling a lot of the time. They just gas up, gas out, and get left behind.
All right, let's start this round's agenda phase. You guys ready?
Ready, Freddy?
As ready as I'll ever be.
The first agenda is Research Grant Allocation. It is a directive where we elect a player. The elected player gains any one technology of their choice. Then, for each prerequisite on that technology, they remove a token from their fleet pool and return it to their reinforcements. All right, the agenda I put on top is actually going to be really good for me, because if I can get it to elect myself, then I can get another technology, and I'm going to be the speaker next turn, so I can take tech. I can actually get this 2-point tech objective. This is crazy. Okay, so you can get a tech, but, you know, your army's going to suffer.
Interest.
Huh. Okay.
Do we have any when agenda is revealed cards that we'd like to play?
No, sir.
How about any afters? All right.
Can we read that again?
We'll go tally up the votes and come back to you.
I literally see no point in voting for this, so I'm just going to save my influence for hopefully the next one, which is much better than this. I don't really care.
All right, we're back with the results, and we have 0 votes for Ethan, 0 votes for Adam, and 13 votes for myself. So I will go ahead and gain a technology.
I wonder who voted for you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who could have done that.
I'm sorry. I mean, come on.
All right. So I know it says gain, guys. We figured that out. But I am just gonna get anti-mass deflectors because I don't want anything to happen to my fleet pool at the moment.
Okay.
So
Fair.
All right.
the next agenda is covert legislation. This is a directive.
Oh my.
When this agenda is revealed, the speaker draws the next card in the agenda deck but does not reveal it to the other players. Instead, the speaker reads the eligible outcomes aloud, for, against, elect player, etc. The other players vote for these outcomes as if they were outcomes of this agenda without knowing their effects.
So you get to know, but
I
we
get
don't
to know,
get to
and
know.
you guys don't get
You
to
know,
know.
you know what?
Oh my lord.
I don't know. I'm gonna veto that.
That's
I'm gonna veto that because I don't even want to deal with that.
understandable.
I'll be honest.
That's, yeah.
Oh, I was kind of looking forward to it.
And maybe it was a mistake. Maybe it was a mistake. I don't know. But
Okay, well we
I don't
don't
know.
Well, we're about to find out.
We're about to see.
We're
Yeah.
about to see which one it was going to be.
It is compensated disarmament. It is a directive where we elect a planet. You destroy each ground force on the elected planet. For each unit that was destroyed, the player who controls that planet gains a trade good.
How would that have worked even with the last one anyway?
I would have just said elect planet, and that's all you guys would
got
know.
you, got you, got you.
So we will. Oh well, okay. Do we have any win agendas revealed cards we'd like to play? Afters. All right. I think we'll come back to you with the tallies on what planet is being elected here. All right. So we have the totals in, and there are 14 votes for Acheron, which is Adam's home planet,
Classic.
and there are 17 votes for Winnu, which is Ethan's home planet. And those are all the votes. So
no one else voted. Oh wait, I'm so surprised. I thought you guys were gonna vote sticks or something.
Ah, poor Ethan. I really didn't expect Adam to choose his planet, his home system planet for that. He was kind of on top of the world at the beginning of the round, but don't get me wrong. He's still in a very good position, just not nearly as strong as he was before.
This is so stupid, dude.
Whoa, you attacked me! You're gonna get mad!
Alrighty. Strategy phase. Ralinel is the speaker. I'm going to choose technology.
All right, as the Winnu, I'm going to try out of the goodness of my heart to take Imperial. That way, Ralinel doesn't just get a free point. I don't necessarily think I'm going to do anything with it because there's no ground forces anywhere, but at least I can take it to keep it away from him.
I'm in a similar boat as Armand, so I kind of need to grab the first thing that is going to help me get points for this round, and that would be construction.
All right. I think we are going to grab diplomacy to hopefully guarantee that I can't be messed with this round.
Okay, so because I was the speaker, I actually got to secure diplomacy and technology for this round, which means I can lock down my home system. That's staying where it is. They're not taking that from me. I'm going to score my objectives this round. And I got technology, which means I can research 2 techs and finally form the infinity gauntlet of technologies. That'll give me 2 points, for sure.
All right, so I can actually do something and not just sit with my tail between my legs. Let's go ahead and pick Warfare.
Ethan, I'm going to stop you right there because you are a public disgrace. When you tried to choose a strategy card, instead you're going to have to try and choose something else if able. Sorry, but I think that might be better used in my hands.
After I was the one who took Imperial, Adam's gonna public disgrace me? Dude, have some sympathy.
Here's a lesson for all you noobs out there. Never let the Winnu get what they want.
All right, we're just going to gamble, and I'm going to grab Politics.
This isn't going to seem odd. I'm obviously going to choose Warfare. But we didn't grab Leadership, and there's kind of a Cold War going on because we all know that if one of us grabs Leadership, we're all going to get a lot of strategy tokens and give each other the opportunity to get way more points. So this last round is going to be really interesting.
Alrighty, I think we're going to start off with a pretty simple turn of activating diplomacy. Just choosing my home system and making sure that nothing too crazy can go on this round.
All right, I'm going to use Politics, choose a player other than the speaker. They gain a speaker token, that will be me. And then I'll draw 2 action cards, and I'll look at the top 2 of the agenda deck.
Ooh, I mean, direct hit could maybe do something, although I've pretty much completely given up on the fact that I'm gonna win this game. Armand is gonna speed right past me, Adam's right on his tail, and the Winnu has completely gassed out. I'm able to do a couple of things, but without all those tokens, and I'm just pulled so thin.
And then you can spend tokens if you'd like to draw some action cards.
I got Ethan's Acquiescence card, so I will instead use that, and I will draw 2 action cards.
I do not have Ethan's Acquiescence, so I will spend a strategy token, but I will in fact get 2 cards. All right, for my first action, I am going to use an action card, Impersonation action. I can spend 3 influence to draw a secret objective, and I'll just exhaust Faunus.
I'm going to use my technology, and I will research one, and I will also spend 6 resources to research a second one. All right, I will research Scanlink Drone Network and Gravity Drive, and that's it.
Alrighty, and I'm also going to research tech, and I'm also going to get Gravity Drive.
For the Winnu's turn, I'll play the War Effort action card. Place a cruiser from your reinforcements in a system that contains 1 or more of my ships. So I'm going to go ahead and place it in my home system. Then at the end of my turn, I'll use the Imperial Arms Vault to place a mech on my home system. And then I'll use the Acropolis from Emilpar to ready the Imperial Arms Vault, exhausting it again and drawing an action card.
I'm going to start off by popping Warfare, and I'm going to move a bunch of units over from here in the Fracture on over to Styx. Does anyone want to produce in their home system?
Yeah, I'll follow that up, and I will produce some units in my home system.
I will as Winnu as well, and I'll use War Machine, the action card, as well as my Winnu agent to decrease some of the costs there.
All right, and I forgot to mention it, but I too, as the Ralinel, will be using War Machine.
Alright, as soon as Adam moves in, the neutral unit is going to use its anti-fighter barrage ability, being an upgraded 6x3. That is 1 hit to his fighters.
Bogus. But because this unit is with my flagship, it will get captured.
Alright, moving into the first round of combat, we're going to roll for the dreadnoughts on the neutral units, which are going to hit on 5s each. That is a hit. And then we've got the destroyer, which hits on an 8, and that's no hit, so a single hit.
My destroyer and carrier both hit on 9, so I'll roll for those. Neither. My fighter hits on an 8. No hit. And then both my flagship and my dreadnought hits on 5s, and my flagship rolls for 2, so I'll roll 3. No hits. That is crazy. My ships suck.
Alright, moving into the second combat round, we're going to roll for the destroyer, who hits on an 8. Nope. And the 2 dreadnoughts, which hit on 5s. That is 1 hit.
Okay. We're running it back, except we have 1 less fighter, so we'll start hitting on a 9. No hit. Hitting on another 9. No hit. Jesus. Okay, and then we'll run the 3 for 5. That's 2 hits. I'm scared of someone else having a direct hit, so I'm going to destroy my destroyer as well. This should also sustain damage.
Alright, moving into another round of combat, we've got 2 hitting on a 5. That is 1 more hit from the neutrals.
Alright, we'll get our 9 roll in. No hit, and then we'll get our 3 5s. If I hit all these, I can clear them out. That's 3 hits.
Alright, so both of the dreadnoughts are taken out. After moving in, Adam's going to start with bombardment.
Both of mine have bombardment 5, so I'll roll 2 die. That's 2 hits, both on 8. Then we'll start ground combat.
Rolling for the neutral infantry, who hits on an 8. That is no hit.
Mine also hit on 8s. No hits. And then I have 2 mechs, which hits on 6s. No hits, wow.
Neutral infantry running back. That is a hit.
Okay. 8s. 1 hit. And another hit, so 2 total.
Taking out that last neutral infantry, and he did produce 1.
Alrighty, and with that, I gain the legendary planet Styx, where light goes to die, and its legendary planet card, which says when I gain this card, I get a victory point. When I lose it, I lose a victory point. So, I get a point, as well as a relic. Alright, for my third relic of the game, I get the Codex. Purge this card to take up to 3 action cards of your choice from the discard pile. That's really good. Hold up. 3 action cards from the discard, you say?
I'm going to exhaust nanomachines, and I'm going to place a PDS on Tiamat. But after that, Raul is actually passing for the round. Or so you think. Alright, and from the data skimmer, I'm going to grab Impersonation. You know what? I think I'm just going to sit back and let the other 2 play this round. I'll be back later, don't worry, but I'm chilling for now.
For my action as the Winnu, I'll play Refit Troops. As an action, choose 1 or 2 of your infantry on the game board and replace those with mechs, which are going to be the 2 infantry in my home system.
Alright, well, I'm immediately going to use what I just got, which is the Codex, to grab from the discard pile, strategize, one of those shield holding, and an overrule, which is probably one of the best strategy action cards in the game.
It's the best.
Yeah, it lets you get a strategy card.
There's no way that it's not the best. It's so good.
Yeah, so these are the 3 I am grabbing.
All right. So, yeah. So I'm going to move everything from there. So all of my non-fighter ships have moved to that system, so we still have 5 there. And we're just going to go ahead and explore Horizon and try to see if it's an attachment, because that's my very last tactic token. It is a cultural relic fragment. Okay.
All right, I'm going to use my brand new Not From the Trash overrule and perform the primary ability of construction, since it is technically still readied. With that, I'm going to produce in the fracture as well as put down a PDS. All right, so I have a bunch of captured units from the neutral guys as well as some of my own from earlier, and I'm doing all that to make 2 dreadnoughts, 2 destroyers, 3 infantry, as well as 2 fighters, and I will be putting them over in the fracture. And
that should be it for my turn.
Alright, pretty much the only thing I have left to do is Imperial, so let's go ahead and do that. Immediately score a public objective if you fulfill its requirements. I do have 5 or more non-fighter ships in one system. That gets me to 14 points, which is exciting, except with Civilized Society, we do have to wait until the end of the status phase. Then, gain a victory point if I control Mechatol Rex? No, so I do draw a secret objective.
Alright, well, that was my Hail Mary. And the secret objective that I got was Occupy the Fringe. Maybe one of the top 5 hardest secret objectives to do. So yeah, I'm not winning this game.
Then the other 2 players have the opportunity to do a secret objective as well.
All right, I'm going to use Acquiescence that I got again from Ethan, this time for flipping his trade goods. I will draw one.
Why didn't you hook me up with Acquiescence, bro?
I'm doing something.
You could have hooked me up with some Acquiescence. You give it to Armand the whole game. What's this about? And he still gets to do turns, because once I pass, he gets to do stuff. You could have made that deal with me. What's going on? No, I can't do a secret objective because I don't have any strategy tokens.
Ethan both left his home system, and then after he used Imperial, I drew Darken the Skies, the secret objective, which requires me to win a combat and a home system. I feel pretty bad for fighting Ethan in his home system twice this game, but it kind of has to be done at this point.
Then, at the end of my turn, I'm going to claim an expedition slice of Thunder's Edge, being the 5 influence.
Just wait, I've given up on the win, but I'm doing something.
Alrighty, I'm going to activate Emplar, and I'm going to take a Dreadnought and a Mech and move it on over to Emplar.
Armand will fire his 2 PDS-2 shots.
Yep, we got Deep Space Cannon, so...
That is 1 hit.
So then while Adam invades Emilpar, I'm not going to take the shot because I don't have any reason to, considering that it might just sustain and that's it. So I'm just going to let him go ahead and take Emilpar. On my turn, the only thing I'm going to do is exhaust Tempesta and spend 4 trade goods in order to claim the final expedition slice of Thunder's Edge. So I'm going to take Thunder's Edge, and because I have 3 and I'm the most, I will place 3 infantry on it, and I have to place it in an empty system without a printed wormhole or a supernova. So I'm going to put it right here next to my home system with 3 infantry on it. Immediately after I do that, I'm going to have to pass for the round.
Finally, I got Thunder's Edge, the first time I've ever controlled this planet. And it's not really doing anything, but it makes me feel so happy and warm inside.
As cool as it is to finally see Thunder's Edge in a game, it's blocking a system that didn't have a planet on it. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I mean, also, I didn't think about the fact that having Thunder's Edge right there does hurt Armand's chances for filling out some empty spaces. And I'm going to play it off to the other 2 guys like I was thinking about that the whole time. But really, I just wanted the big planet, and I wanted my dudes on it.
Alrighty, so now it is literally just me left in the round, so I'll start off by doing a Strategize. I'm going to perform the secondary ability of any readied or unchosen card. In this case, I'm actually going to choose Leadership. So in this case, I'm going to spend some planets, my relic, and a trade good, and I'm going to get 2, 4, 6, 7, 11, 12. I'm going to get 4 tokens. Alrighty, so I'm going to use Construction. I'm first going to use the production ability of one of my space docks in my home system. Then I'm going to place a structure on a planet I control. I will place a PDS on sticks. All right, next up in line is Junior again. I'm going to use 3 resources and exhaust him, using up Atlas to put another PDS on sticks. All right, so I have a bunch of tactic tokens to use. I'm first going to start off by putting a token in each of the Ingress spots in the Fracture and moving a Dreadnought and a couple fighters with them. Alrighty, so I moved stuff over into those Ingress areas right there. I had 4 more tokens to use, so I moved some stuff right over here. I moved some stuff over there in the corner. I moved a guy down here, and then finally I produced a couple more ships in my home system. No more tokens, no other actions. I do have my hero. Unfortunately, I'm not in the position to use my hero because it literally wouldn't do anything. So I will be passing my turn and finally just using this legendary planet to go and take something that hasn't been taken. Surprisingly, there's a lot of stuff left on board. So the card specifically states it just has to have no units and be non-legendary and no attachments. So I can actually take the system of another player, and in this case, I'll take Lemix since it's completely open, and I really don't want to start digging for attachments for Armand, so I guess I'll just cash that in.
This is it. My brain is literally scrambled eggs right now. I'm just praying to God I didn't forget anything and I fortified. Please.
So, since Adam has passed, the last player has passed, so I can finally use the Ralnel hero. I can choose to no longer be passed, which I will do, and I will get 2 command tokens, draw an action card, and then purge the hero.
I just need 1 more point, and then I'm at 15, and there's no way anyone could get past that.
All right, on my turn, I'm going to activate Ethan's home system, Winu, and I'm going to bring a few ships in there, and we are going to combat.
Huh. Yeah, that's kind of open. That's kind of open.
So I will go ahead and shoot my space cannon offense from the link ship. I have plasma scoring, so I'll be rolling 2, and they hit on 5. That's 2 hits on his fighters.
Oh, come on. My PDS is going to fire Space Cannon offense back. That is not going to be a hit. So 2 of the fighters go.
All right, I've got an anti-fighter barrage on the... it's a 3x6, so I'll roll 3, and they'll hit on 6.
That's 3 hits. All right, great.
That will let me score Darken the Skies. I won a combat in another player's home system.
I hope I didn't miss anything else.
Alrighty, then I will activate this system here with the supernova. Do you have any response, Adam? Yeah, no, okay. These have 4 movement, so.
All right, so you just need to hit a single Space Cannon shot.
Yep, these hit on 5.
That does hit.
I may have found what I missed.
Next up, we're going to activate this system here, and shut that away. We will bring in this and this. All right, Space Cannon offense, plasma scoring, hits on 5.
That is a hit. 2 hits, actually.
All right, today in Being a Noob 101, I, your Professor Adam, will tell you that Space Cannon happens before combat, as well as Anti-Fighter Barrage happens before Announce Retreats. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, I just had a route in my hand, which would have allowed me to force someone to retreat and maybe not capture certain spaces that had my stuff in it that I didn't want them to be there in. Just want to let you know that.
Alrighty, and then last but certainly not least, we have anti-mass deflectors, so we'll be going through the alpha wormhole here, and I might as well just bring it. Space Cannon offense, so we hit on 5s. Plasma scoring.
That is a hit.
That's a hit. Right, and then after that, I believe I can pass the round.
I'm so glad you've stuck it out this long, because I almost haven't. This is, I don't know, 13 hours from when we started. All right, technically at the beginning of the status phase, we do have an opportunity for Adam to use the Entropic Scar. All right, that's a no. I just wanted to check in case that was going to get you any points. But we're going to go ahead and score, starting with me, the Winu. I have a completely useless secret objective and no public objectives to score, so I'm going to end the game with 14 points.
All right, I will be scoring the Master of the Sciences. I have 2 technologies of each of 4 colors, as well as Explore Deep Space, since I have my units in these 3 systems without any planets.
That puts Ralnel at 15 points.
Alrighty, I have 7 or more structures, giving me 2 points. And I also have a secret objective, control 4 cultural planets, putting me also at 15 points.
Because of Civilized Society and a 2-way tie, these 2 players at 15 points are going to tally their unspent trade goods as well as their influence on all their controlled planets. That will be the tiebreaker. Ending the game with 20 influence is Armand, and 24 goes to Adam, our winner. Honestly, after all we've gone through behind the scenes, it only really makes sense that in the last 30 seconds we went through an emotional roller coaster of thinking Armand was going to win and him being so confident that he actually passed early, and then Adam just surpasses him anyway with a secret objective and some extra influence.
You know what? That's my bad. I honestly forgot Adam had a secret objective, and I did not think he was going to score it. Good on him, though, and the influence was really close, so congrats to Adam.
I do think that Adam did deserve the win overall, and I appreciate you all watching.
But in all seriousness, that game was super close. I definitely, as always, took the longest for all of my turns. It was crazy. You guys didn't see it. We'll have a lot more to talk about in the after report, but there was a lot of decision making to go into a lot of that, and honestly, it was a great game. I liked the Galactic Event. I thought it was interesting, but I don't know if I would play it all the time. Probably cool with more players. But this was a really fun game. I am very surprised. I can't believe I won. I'm on the scoreboard. Let's get it. But I think we'll just see you guys in the next one, and hopefully we'll be doing something new and different.
Thank you so much for watching this Galactic Report. If you enjoyed this, we'll see you as a YouTube member in the after show, or on the next Galactic Report on the Cardboard Crash Course. Pax Magnifica, Bellum Glorioso.